Hello everybody, good morning. I want to start with one sentence. There is nothing can make a dream impossible, but the fear to fail. That's the sentence you have to keep in your mind when you're going to make a speech, when you're going to talk to an audience. Because you don't have to be scared to talk to a big audience. I bet probably that most of you have fear or scared of speaking public. Please raise your hand. The people who's in here who have scared of speaking public. Julio. Okay, and many most of you don't raise your hand of scared of other people. So welcome. The aim, the target of this class is to lose your fear. And the target is when you get out of this door, you're not going to be scared to speak in public. Okay, my part is almost a theoretical part, and I'm going to try to explain three things, just three small things. First of all, what's a speech? What's eloquence? What's a debate? What's speaking in public? Second of all, I'm going to explain you the contents, what we have to say in an argument, what we have to say in a speech, and third of all, I'm going to give you some advices of how to speech. Speech, contents, and shape, if you want. Remember the sentence I started with. You cannot be scared. And if you think in history, history provides us, please, come on. History provides us lots of examples of successful persons, successful people in the world with very good speeches. Think in Cicerón, in the old Greece history. Think in Obama and his investment speech. Yes, we can. Think in Churchill. You can think also in Schuman, in his speech was the beginning of the European Union. Think in Ana Botella, relaxing cup of café con leche. Okay? Great speeches which are in history. So let's remark the first point. What's a speech? Some volunteer? What's a speech for you? What's the oratory? Tell me your definition.
Oratory or speech?
Whatever. To speak in public, the art of speaking in public, oratory.
Well, oratory is either an art and a science which is focused on elaborating coherent discourse and with the content that is appealing to the hearer.
Okay, very good. This is a very good definition. Another one, please. The final of the class. Another definition of oratory. Volunteer. Upstairs. One of you. You, for example.
The art of speaking in public.
Okay, you both are right, but we have to add that it's very also important to persuade. Okay, because there's lots of examples, for example, in politicians, in news, newspapers, of messages that are empty, that are saying nothing. So you have to put some content, and you also have to persuade, because you are talking to an audience, you are talking to other people, and other people has been, you have to convince other people with your own ideas. So what's a content? Very good said. What's a speech? Sorry, very good said. And I also want to tell you a story about the beginning of the giving speeches art. The giving speeches art, born in Greece, in the old Greek Empire, and it was in Syracuse. Some nasty people stole the lands of the poor people and they unificated all the lands, all the plots. Then people made a revolution, and nasty people went. There was a problem that the people who were in these lands were with no, these lands had no limits, and they didn't know how to share and how to distribute these plots. So they had to go to court and to discuss with other people how to share these plots. Corax was the master of giving speeches in that period of the history. And Corax thought about a business, and he thought, I'm going to set up my business, and I'm going to teach people how to convince, how to persuade. Corax had one student named Casillas, and when Casillas finished his lessons, was required by his master, and the master, Corax, said, "Hey student, pay my rent, pay my wage." And the student denied. They went to the court to discuss if the student had or not to pay the wage. And Casillas started talking at the court. Casillas said, "Master, professor, I'm not going to pay you by two reasons. First of all, I'm not going to pay you because if I learn well, if you have to teach me the art to speak in public and to persuade, like I said in the definition, I'm going to persuade you that I don't have to pay the wage. Also, if I'm not able to persuade you that I don't have to pay the wage, you are not doing your part. You are not teaching me, so I don't have to pay you." Corax, professor, answered, "Okay, you're gonna pay me, but with two arguments. First of all, you're gonna pay me because if you persuade me, I'm doing my part, and you have learned, so I'm a good professor. And second of all, if you don't persuade me, if you don't persuade the court, you have also to pay me because I did my best teaching you, and it's not my fault that you're stupid," more or less he answered. Okay, so the history is it's not clear that what part is history and what part is kind of legend. But the story says that one of the first debates in history, and more or less the teach you have to learn, is that when you when you face up two arguments, two ways of thinking, and that's the origin of the debate. So, once we have defined what's oratory, what's giving speeches, we have to go to the second point, content. Because you can talk saying nothing. It's very common nowadays, like I said before, when you open a newspaper or when you hear a parliament debate, to hear empty speeches. So Julio and I have thought about 3 advices we can give you in order to give a speech, and 3 advices which we think are very useful to, for example, when you have the word page blank in white, write nothing, 3 ways, 3 steps you can follow to give a good speech. Very simple advices. Very simple advices. 3. Remember also, the 3 is like the magic number in giving speeches. 3 is the best number you can remember. Yes, we can Okay, is the slogan number, is the publicity number, is the magic number when you're giving speeches. When you do examples, you can do examples 3, 3, 3. That's very good advice to remember things. 3. First of all, think. And forgive about my calligraphy, it's very poor. Okay, think. When you think, you have to sit and think about the ideas you're gonna write. Okay? You have one topic. For example, you've been told to write discussion, a debate, whatever, about one topic. So you're gonna, for example, sit and search in Google. You're gonna go to the library and to search for books, articles, whatever. Ask other friends. It doesn't mind. Think and study. Study and study. That's the more important thing, and that's the thing that Julio will explain later, is the most important thing to don't forget anything in your speech. So, when you're thinking, the first of all you have to remember and bear in mind is that you have to forget about the ideas which are very general or non-specific. And the second of all, you have to forget about the fallacies. Fallacies. Okay? What's that? It's a way to persuade, but using a half-truth or a half-mistake sentence. For example, ad hoc. It's one way of reasoning, which means that one thing makes you a rule. For example, how many of you have been in Mallorca or in Ibiza? Okay, that's fine. And how many of you have listened the most typical sentence in this kind of places? Okay, the German people is a there's no German people in this room. Okay, so okay. Very okay. Thank you. Have you heard the sentence that German people is drunk people? Have you heard about that sentence?
Yeah, I've heard about it.
Okay, so that's kind of sorry. That's kind of. And here in Spain, we're also very drunk people. But it is said that the German people, for example, is also is always drinking in this kind of places. Spanish people too, but we generalize. Okay, I'm going to read just the most important because we have no time to do all the reasoning. Generalizing. Okay, when you generalize is, for example, when you say all the marriage, when the woman or man have a difference, age difference, about 20 years, the marriage is going to fail. Okay, you don't know. You're generalizing. You don't know. You're just inventing your own statistic. But that's not true. Second of all, another important way of reasoning is ad misericordia. Argumentum ad misericordia is when you use the feelings. You're doing a debate, you're doing a speech, and you are not using can we say, a scientific idea. You're just using a feeling idea. The example Julio and I like the most is a very controversial example, but it's very useful for this. It's the Canal Law closed example. Forget your political ideas. The ideas Fabra used to close Canal Law was a ad misericordiam argument, ad misericordiam ideas, because think of it. He said, well, with that voice. Okay, welcome. Okay, think of this with that voice. Fabra said, okay, we're going to close, no, because we cannot close hospitals, we cannot close schools. Oh, poor kids. You're just going to feelings. You're not doing some special scientific economic idea. You're just taking idea about misericordiam, about feeling. And that's we want you to avoid when you're writing a speech. Another good example is, I'm not sure if it's here, it doesn't matter. Argumento ad Lazarum. It means that the rich people has less moral values than poor people. Because money is a nasty thing. Money is a bad thing for people, and we have to avoid money. So, for example, if you are poor or rich, try to think a debate and try to think, for example, one part is saying, okay, I don't think our tax system in Spain is a fair system. And the other part says, okay, it doesn't matter for you because you're rich. It doesn't matter I'm rich or I'm poor. My opinion is equal as yours. It doesn't matter if I'm rich, if I had more money or less money. That's my problem, and that's not makes my ideas or my things about the topic more or less true. Other ad novitatem and ad antiquitatem. For example, when you said that's better because it's old. Have you heard the typical parents' sentence that says, when I was a child, I had really moral, really important feelings about care of the ancient people, of the old people. It's very common. Or, in other way, the best is the new thing. For example, that laptop is better than yours. Why? Because it's new. Okay, we will see. We have to see if it's better because of the internal things, but not because it's new. Another one, the red fish. That's one of my favorites. That's when I'm doing a debate. I'm giving my arguments. I'm speaking, and for example, I'm talking with Julio about Canal, and we're speaking, and I said, "Oh, Julio, such a nice T-shirt. It's very beautiful." Okay, it's a distraction. I take the red fish, and you're all looking at the T-shirt of Julio, and you're not thinking about the debate. For 1 second, you have been distracted by my persuasion because I pointed the T-shirt of Julio. And that's very common in public speeches, in political speeches. They use all the red fish. Another one, tu quoque. Tu quoque needs no presentation. YouTube. If you put, for example, a political debate, a parliament debate, YouTube is the most Spanish tradition in debates. When you say, you raise the taxes, oh, you too, no, you too, no, you too, and that's, the thing is, it's horrible. And there's another, that's the Valencian version, that's the humor. You too, humor, you too, humor, and there's no way to end the debate. And for, to end, we have ad hominem. Which means that you are discussing, you are saying your own ideas and discussing, and the other part answers with an attack, or a personal attack. And I say, for example, I think nuclear energy is not good because nuclear energy, you don't know about anything, you're a fat person, you're a short person, you are studying law, so you cannot do your own opinion about scientific topics. That's very common. You attack the man, not the ideas the man is defending. Okay, but once we've cleared, you have to think about what you're going to write. once we clear, you're gonna think, and you're gonna not use general ideas or fallacies. You have to selection. What means selection? Selection is that you're with the word in white, and you have to select the ideas that are gonna afford content to the debate, to the speech. I want to ask you, how many of you Google some work, some tasks? How many of you search in Google? Okay, all of you, thank you. How many of you have to search for something, for example, for a job in class? And how many of you go to the 10th page in Google? To the 10th page? Okay, one brave person. Maybe the solution of the problem is in the first page, but all your partners are going to have the solution in the first page, so you're equal. Maybe when you want to go out in the office of this house of the university, when you're in a court, when you'll be lawyer or whatever you want, maybe the people who goes to the 10th page, your mate, that people is the people who's going to have the best solution. Because maybe he apports something different, and he's going to win the court or the client or whatever you want. Very important. Also, you have to select ideas which have meaning, which apport something. And you have to avoid general speaking, like I said before. Julio and I like the one example of people in Spain and probably abroad knows. It's a person in Spain, very famous by a very famous sentence, because she said, Andreita, eat the chicken. Belén Esteban. Is a person who doesn't say anything. And we want you to put an example of talk like Belén Esteban. And now I need 4 volunteers to give an example. Okay? I started my lesson with one sentence. Don't be scared. Okay? Don't be shy. 4 volunteers. You. Come on, don't be shy. Come on. Okay, 3 more. Two more volunteers. Okay. The final of the class, 1 volunteer. Come on. 1 girl. Okay, 1 of you. Okay, you. Come on. It's very easy. Okay, 1 more. Just 1 more. It's very easy. Very short example. You, Maria. Okay, thank you. Okay, I have to apologize because the example is in Spanish, so I have to apologize if some of you, Professor told us before that some of you are not able to speak Spanish, but I'm sorry, we have the example in Spanish. Okay, we have here an example of talking, saying nothing, or a Belén Esteban speech. Okay, it's in Spanish, so apologize. Then you're going to read some sentence, and you're going to read number 1, whatever, it doesn't matter. Number 2, number 3, number 4. Okay? Listen, for example, and try to guess what are they saying. Okay.
Es obvio señalar que
el aumento constante en cantidad y extensión de nuestra actividad
exige la precisión y la determinación
de las nuevas proposiciones.
Asimismo,
el reforzamiento y desarrollo de las estructuras
facilita la creación
de toda una casuística de amplio espectro.
la práctica de la vida cotidiana prueba que
la consulta con los numerosos militantes,
ayuda a la preparación y a la realización
de las directivas de desarrollo para el futuro.
Okay, fine. Thank you. Okay.
Okay, thank you, volunteers. What have you understand? No sense. If you analyze the sentence, makes sense, but there's no content on this sentence. So remember, think, avoid general ideas, avoid fallacies, and selection. Select only the important ideas, avoiding speaking, saying nothing. And the last part, write. That's the part you have the word and you have to start writing. And that's probably the most difficult part. When you write, you have to bear in mind one very important thing. That your audience is human audience, and you're not robots. And you're listening to me, you're listening with some kind of level attention. And your attention is not forever. It lasts more or less 10 minutes. More or less, and the maximum it's in the 15 more or less. Just 10 minutes. So, in the 10 minutes, you're going to open WhatsApp, to open Facebook, whatever. But it doesn't mind, because I know you're losing attention. I know you're probably looking your WhatsApp. I know. And I keep in mind that you can be, your mind can be in other part. So, the most important thing is that your structure, your speech, following this line. So you have to start with strong speech, with strong ideas. You have to use one strong idea in the first part. If you remember, I started the lesson with Paulo Coelho's sentence. I said, you don't have to be scared. I started saying you have to lose your fears and you have to be brave to talk in public. I start with more or less strong ideas, and I kept your attention for your more or less 10 minutes. More or less in the 10th or 20 minutes, you're losing your attention, you're looking your WhatsApp, you're distracted. And that's very common, because we have a part in our brain that is more or less like the reptile brain, and it's your survival ideas that says, for example, when you're in the jungle and you have a lion and has run, the lion's gonna eat you. And that part of your brain is saying you, okay, that boy is talking too much, he's gonna kill me at boring. And it's very normal, it's very common. So, first idea, second idea. The second idea has to be the weakness, the weak idea, the less important idea, because it's the idea which I distracted, I have no attention on what you're saying, and it's very important that you keep in mind, for example, in a oral exam. Because, for example, if you're asked for 3 questions, you have to bear in mind that the professor maybe is listening to you with lots of attention. And in the second part, professor is distracted. Because he's thinking what's gonna eat, what's gonna go in the weekend, it doesn't matter. He's distracted. So you have to use your weak idea. He's not gonna listen to you, it doesn't matter. And then you have to get your audience to listen to you again. And you can use, for example, sentence like, okay, in conclusion, and you have to use your voice, you have to, okay, to sum up, in addition, la casa before my partners, okay? It doesn't matter. You have to take the audience back to the class. 1, 2, and 3. And the third idea has to be a very strong idea because it's the main idea you keep in your mind. So the order, more or less, is second important idea, the less important idea, and the most important idea at the last of the speech. Okay, remember the 3 is the number magic. It's a magic number in giving speeches. 3 ideas we have to use. That's why people who study giving speeches explain the Trojan battle was. Okay, that's the order the General Nestor used in that battle. First of all, he sent good warriors, he said, good people, in order to fight and to damage the other part. Okay, thank you. Then he sent the weak warriors. Then, to win the battle, I'm not sure if he won the war. To win the battle, he sent the most important warriors. Okay, the same as our ideas. Okay, and one thing that is important is when you write, you have to make a very big end, and that's like a film. You can see a terrific film, a very bad film. But it's very good film if it has a good end. So you can end your speech with some kind of sentence, for example, for instance, okay, la casa, in conclusion, and you have to change your voice because it's very important that your audience feels that's your ending. So remember, think, selection, and write. To end my part, like I said, I started talking you about what's speech, then we talk about the content, and now I want to talk you about probably the most important thing in giving speeches, which is the shape, which is not only what you are saying, but also how you say it. That's the most important thing. And people who study that kind of things says that more or less the shape, how you tell some story is more or less 80%. And that's true. It's very important how you say things. So Julio and I thought about some examples, some advices we can give you in order to make a good speech. First of all, for example, decide to look at the audience eyes. That's a very important thing because if I don't see you, if I don't keep my eyes in contact with you, the class will be more boring. So try to imagine if I do the class to the first line of the class, the last line of the class needs my attention, and the line of the attention will get shorter, and they just be paying attention for 5 minutes rather than 10 minutes. So keep your eyes with the audience. One advice is Julio and I are used to do when we give a speech. We can use a theta or W in order to follow all our audience, and that's a tricky thing, but it's very useful to keep your audience engaged and on what you're saying. Another advice, which is in my opinion the most important advice for a person who gives a speech, the voice. How many of you have a professor which is very boring just for the voice? It has a line voice and he speaks like that. Okay, thank you. I was not that. Okay, thank you. Okay, that's why. That's because of the voice, because it's a long line, infinite line. So you have to play with your voice. And that's very difficult, for example, for me, because I have a medium voice, which is fine, but could be boring. So I have to try to play with my voice to make a lower voice, to make a higher voice. For example, if I'm telling a terrorific story, I cannot tell the terrorific story with that voice because it's not scaring. Okay? On the other hand, if I'm talking about, for example, giving a very important speech, I have to make that kind of voice because it's very important. Okay? You're getting it? The idea. So it's very important to play with your voice. Another advice, it's very important to work with the spaces. You have to walk. How many of you has give a speech and you are like that? Well, I'm talking to the t-shirt, okay? Just jumping, more or less. Okay, you laugh because some of you do it. Okay, so it's very important to use the space. I don't have too much space here, but I'm trying to move myself along the space I have. And that's important not only because it's less boring, but also because I'm keeping your attention. Because you don't care about that, but you're moving your head while I'm moving. And you are moving your head, and I'm also keeping your attention. I'm less boring if I keep on moving, slowly moving. But if I keep on moving, I'm less boring rather than if I would do the class on the chair. That's very boring. So I prefer to keep the class moving myself. Less boring. That's an important thing. Okay. Another important thing is hands. Hands are the most powerful weapon a speaker has. Because with your hands, you can show you're angry. You can show you're calm. You can show whatever you want. You can give kind of tension if you're in tension, or you can be calm. You can do fast movements in order to make fast ideas, and you can give a feeling of calm and relaxing. So very important, use your hands. And the last part is, last advice is a very common sense advice, and is that your image. For example, when you're going to an oral exam, or when you're going to a court tomorrow, when you get out of here, you're going to have an image, and you have to give your image. And it's not about dressing a very posh t-shirt or something like that. It's not a problem of that. It's a problem that you have to sell your image. And it doesn't matter how you dress. It's just to wear an appropriate dress for the moment. So remember, very important, your image if you're doing a speech. So that's my part, and I want to end this part just giving you my best wishes in your career. I think you're starting now, and I want to wish you you lose your fears or speak in public. So thank you for your attention and good luck.
Please.
Good morning. As your teacher told, my name is Julio Casillas. I'm nearly finishing my degree. Oh, it's no. Sorry for that. Thank you, José. As I was saying, my name is Julio Casillas. I'm in the halfway between university and my job. I'm working nowadays as a lawyer. I only have to pay my taxes in the university. This is a strange thing because when you finish university, you think everything is alright, but you realize that it's even more complicated to pay taxes and to fulfill the sheets and all that, passing your exam or civil law or penal law, you will realize that in a few years. My colleague Javier told you a theoretical part of how do people speak, how do people try to convince the auditorium, how do people try to sell themselves in a oral exam, speaking with teachers, with your professor, when you go to speak with your clients, whatever. And when you do this, you have to keep in mind things like this. And sorry for the colors, because the other day I was trying to select the colors and I didn't realize that the lights and all that would make this special effect, so sorry for that. One day in Madrid, like 3-4 years ago, there was a guy called Diego de Marta. He's one of the best guys all around the world that teaches the politicians how to speak in public. And he teaches politicians all around the world, in South America, Europe, India, all around the world. He's a really nice guy. He knows very much about how to communicate to an auditorium, to public, whatever. And he showed us these photos. In the left part is a tiger, and in the right part is a monkey. So he told us, when you go to speak to a place, when you go to an oral exam, when you go to make an explanation about whatever you want, you have to keep in mind things like this. You can be a monkey, you can shout with your arguments, you can make fast moves with your hands, you can try to keep the attention of the public, of your auditorium, by making things with your body, with your voice, shouting. Or in the other hand, you can be a tiger. When you go to a zoo or you go to a safari in Africa, you see the tigers. They are not really, but almost the lions, and they are the kings of the place. And they are really calm. They stay on their place, watching all around. They never shout. They keep calm. But in the moment that they get scared about something, they see something that they don't really like, and they want to explain something, they kill whatever and anything that is in front of him. So when you are in a place like this, when you go to an oral exam, you have to think who you want to be, a lion or a monkey. How do you want to be? You want to be calm, you want to explain your arguments in a correct way, you want to think, select, write, be calm, move your hands in a relaxed way, or you want to be like a monkey, to shout, to try to move your hands very fast, saying things very loudly in order to, I don't know how to, you want to have more sense, more reason about what you say or how you say. So you have to think about this, lion or tiger. Then I want to speak about social media. Do you use social media like Twitter or Twitter? I don't use Twitter, but I should. Facebook. You use it. If you were in the cafeteria or something like that, probably you were. ¿Cómo se dice tuiteando? I don't have Twitter, so I don't know. Well, here it's a bad news. That this is not going to be useful in your life for nothing. For nothing. You are in a university. I think that you want to study law. You want to study economy. You want to be, I don't know, you want to be the boss, you want to be a lawyer, a normal lawyer, you want to be a judge, you want to, but you will have to show you with clients, you will have to go to a court, and you will have to win with your arguments, not chatting. And whatever you want to do, that's your part, it's not my part. You have to show you have to show your arguments by speaking, by convincing, by moving your hands, but in this way and not in this way. So you have to keep in mind things like this. Next part. This is in Spanish, but we can make it in English, sorry. This is fear. Javier was talking about that 5 minutes, 10 minutes ago. Fear about speaking in public. Most of you raise your hands, me too. I think, and because I studied and some people told me that the fear of speaking in public, it's because three main items. The first one is the fear of getting in blank. The fear of not knowing how to say is the second one. And the last one is the fear of making a fool of yourself when you speak in public. So here's the good news. These 3 points, these 3 tips, these 3 ways that you are afraid of speaking in public have a really, really simple solution. Those three, you can use these three things. If you are afraid of getting in blank, if you are afraid of not knowing what to say, just think, select, and write. It's that easy. If you don't know what to say, think. Because if you don't think, you will always have the same problems. I don't know what to say if I don't think, if I don't work, if I don't select the correct arguments, if I don't keep in one hand fallacies, in the other hand arguments, if I don't put the arguments, the first one, the important ones, the second one, the not that important, and in the third position, the most important ones. These problems, you can use these solutions. And the last one, the fear of making a fool of yourself when you speak in public. In this point, I want to say that if you have this fear, you have to solutionate it here. Because here, we are all friends, we are all partners, and when you go out there, it's the jungle, it's even more horrible than the lion and the monkey, because there are no friends. The friends are here, outside it's your job, it's your life, and here we are playing, if we can use the verb play, with 5, a 6 in an oral exam, a 5 in an explanation, a 6, a 4, a 3, a fail, but outside we are playing with people's lives, we are playing with their personal feelings about if I lose or not the custody of my child with my wife, or if I lose my house, or if I cannot afford whatever, money. But money is not that important, but people, they put in our hands their lives, so we have to be really competent with that, and we have to lose this fear of making a fool of ourselves in a place like this, because we are in friends, and if you don't get out here and you don't speak and you don't lose this, outside it will be much, much, much more difficult. Even more, how do we have to speak in order to achieve the goals that we are saying, to achieve the goal of being clear? You have to be clear, you have to be credible, credibility, and in the third point, you have to have self-confidence. If you don't get these 3 points, it's really, really, really difficult to achieve the goal of convincing, to achieve the goal of trying to put your arguments in the other part of the auditorium. It's very difficult. In the first point, clarity. Clarity, why? Because if when you are speaking, you are not clear, if you don't know what to say, if you don't put your ideas in this way, the other part is not going to understand your message. That's very simple. In the other part, if you are not credible, if you don't believe in yourself, if you don't believe in what you are selling, the other part is not going to buy you, is not going to believe in you. If you go to an oral exam with Pepe, for example, and you sit there and you don't believe that you want that 5 or that 6 or that 9, if you don't think that you deserve it, how is going he to believe you, to put you a 5, the 6, the 7? First of all, believe you, and then you will convince the other part that you deserve that thing. And in the last part is the self-confidence. You have to be self-confident with you, because if not, the other part is not going to be in contact with you. And Javier told you before, when you're speaking in public, there are studies of university in the United States, but this year I say, because this is the second year that we are making this class. And last year I said, university in the United States said that there are studies that, and I say this year that Spanish university says, because I don't think that the universities in the USA know more than universities in Spain, so I say. There's a university in Sevilla that says, as Javier was saying, that when you speak in public, when you speak to an audience, when you make an oral exam, the main goal, you can achieve it with 80%, just how you say the things, how you say them. And the 20% is the things you say. So in this point, if you know how to move your hands, as Javier told you, if you know how to use the space, as Javier told you, if you know how to think, select the correct arguments, keeping outside the fallacies, if you know how to write, how to make your arguments in a correct way, you have an 8 out of 10 of the final goal done. And just the 20 is what you say. So if you mix these two parts, you will achieve whatever you want. It's that. This is very, some people say that it's very scary because people can damage other people's mind just because using this 80% part, and it's right. But the thing of oratoria, the thing of rhetorica, the thing of speaking in public is just, you have to use it as you want. We recommend you to use it in a correct way, but we know that there are people all around the world that use this 80% just to convince other people, in politicians, in dictators all around the world. But you have to use this thing in a correct way. And if you use it, you will achieve better results in university. You will go to a job interview knowing who you are, what you want to say, and how do you want to say what you want to say, how. And you will achieve the goal of getting that job, you will achieve the goal of passing an oral exam, and you will get everything. And at that point, I always think in this guy, Steve Jobs, is my main example. Steve Jobs was a guy that entered that door with his pants and a black shirt, and he put in front of the camera, there was hundreds of people in the auditorium, and million, and I don't know how many people in the internet, in the media. And he was a guy that he said, okay, here's my iPhone, this is the best iPhone around the world, if you buy this iPhone you will speak better, you will search better in Google, you will do everything better, right? Just that. He was clear, he was credible, he was self-confident, and the iPhone is one of the most things sell all around the world, and his company become one of the most important companies with Coca-Cola and that all around the world. So if you think in Steve Jobs and you use his example to your explanation, oral explanations, you will achieve your goals in a very, very quickly way. And at this point I want to say thank you to Pepe, thank you for the opportunity of being here speaking with you, also to take our English off the closet and speak a little bit, because usually we don't speak English. And now at this point we are going to give you the chance to speak here, and it's the fear of making a fool of yourself. You have to break it here. So if you want to do it, 4 volunteers in order to make a game. Is that? And after the teacher Pepe told us that you are making a kind of work, and you have for today homework you have to explain it. So volunteers about that after this game can be here and explain, so Pepe can teach you how.
No. No, in English. So, go, please. Yes, please. No. Come on. And the other volunteers, do you remember yesterday? Okay, second. Third. And the fourth. Any other Polish people remember yesterday? Eva? Or no? Your colleague?
But while my colleague Javier is explaining the game, I want to say one thing that I forgot. Sorry for that.
Eva, your colleague? Okay. Come on, please. Come on. Yes.
The thing that I forgot, sorry, is that when you speak in public, the main thing, and I forgot the main thing, so sorry, is this. Is the rule of the 330. This for me is the most important thing when you speak in public. It's the first 30 seconds, the first 30 moves, and the first 30 words. This is the most important thing to achieve the 80% of how you say things. Because you have only one chance to get a first impression, you have only one chance. And that chance, you can get it in the first 30 seconds. That chance, you can get it in the first 30 moves you do with your hands, as Javier told you. And that chance, you can get it with the first 30 words. If in the first 30 words you say something that you don't have to say in a moment, or you don't introduce yourself in a correct way, or using your voice in a correct move, you are going to fail this, and if you fail this, you fail the 30%, and you are -8 of the main goal. So don't forget that. And the game is that Javier is giving a note with one thing that your friends have to sell, and afterwards, if you want to buy it, give goodbye.
So it's true that until last week it made a lot of hot weather, but this week I see you're wearing jackets, pullovers, no? So now, if you are at home and you, after doing the exercises, the Casillas, actually you have a lot to do, no? If we have finished, then we want to relax. And relax before the TV, in front of the TV, on the sofa. And we need a batamanta. A batamanta is a type of jacket or something like that, but you can convert it into a manta. Blanket. I forgot it. Yes. I was thinking about the situation, so I was a bit confused. And what do you think? Costalin, would you buy a batamanta?
No.
Why not? No, but you have already one batamanta, no? You said it to me before. And in Poland, maybe you don't know about the batamanta. Maybe it's a good opportunity to try to buy it. Are you interested, maybe? No? Well, it's very cheap. Take advantage for the opportunity, because in a month maybe it becomes the trade of the moment, and it's more expensive. No, Jorge? So.
Good morning. Okay, I will do it very short. The first thing is that who of you like to do housework? Anybody? You would like someone to do it for you? So the best idea is to buy a slave. He or she can do that for you, and you can use your time to do the things that you really like, going shopping, or maybe go out with your friends. So it's very useful that this person, you pay for it, and he or she will be able to do whatever you want, and you can use it for, I mean, if you don't want to wash the dishes, he or she can do it for you. It's very useful, and also you can do it for being your partner in a party that you are going alone. So also to keep your company, and that's all.
Okay, so the first question is, who wants to be the best on the world and achieve more money? We will sell the cash machine. I think it is very useful, because if we want to get more money, we can do it because we have the best cash machine on the world. So if you try this, you can never regret. So I think that you can invest in this and try to do it with our cash machine.
Hi. I have in my shop a video of film video in the old video, and I think that how many of you have in your house a old machine of video, and if it's in the I don't know what. I think that, for example, in my house I have the machine video in the I don't know, but in the forgot place for this product because nowadays not is usual for us. But in my shop I have the best video because it's a film who has a lot of interesting things in the film, and it's about Marilyn Monroe, perhaps, and has I don't know, but I think that is the best because it's interesting, and I think with a boyfriend, a girlfriend, I don't know, and if you are a boy, can be in love the girl with a batamanta of Nicolas in the sofa and has a relaxing time.
We're doing a little feedback, which is more or less to give some advice of what they have done. First of all, your opinion. Good? Bad? Come on. Very good. Very good. Okay, more opinions. Okay, for me, very good. Really very good. So, let's start with the last intervention. She controlled it. For me, she had the most difficult product to sell, which was a VHS film movie, with, not a DVD, the older version, and he did very well. He uses arguments, and I liked he controlled more or less the space. He was moving like that, which was a bit of under control, but very fine to control the space. For example, the Polish girl made a very good job, but he stayed here, which makes the speaker kind of borderline between her arguments, her ideas, and the audience which is listening. Because if I talk from here, you're paying less attention rather than if I'm moving and if I'm close to you. You are paying more attention from here rather than the corner. More ideas. You had to sell what? Remember? Batamanta and? Okay, the slave. The slave was a very good idea to sell with that kind of argument, but you have done very well, but our advice is to control the voice, because you keep your the microphone in your hand, and the voice was really a kind of difficult to give the message you have to give in order to sell your slave, which is a very funny product. And the final product, the Batamanta, is a star product here in Spain, and it's very normal that people from abroad does not know the Batamanta. But he started very well. If you realize, they used a kind of, he gets close to the public, and he's doing some very useful, which is throwing or dropping rhetorical questions. And he asked, who wants a batamanta? And, okay, some people was thinking, okay, I don't want, or I want, or I don't want. So the rhetorical questions are very important to a speaker. So give them an applause. Okay. At the final part of the class, we have been told that you have some kind of homework or some task you can perform. So it's now the part of...
The case is very simple. Lola and her boyfriend had bought an apartment, and when they bought it, there was no one, like there were far less bars or pubs as there are now. The area wasn't noisy, it was very quiet, and now it has changed into a chaotic environment, and they've called the police lots of times, and they only give a partial solution, which is telling them to close at an earlier time. But that is not a long-term solution, so we have thought of lots of solutions.
Well, we call this problem pollution of noise, and how we are going to solve it. So first we need, okay, so are you our clients? Okay, so I talk to you like with the clients. So if you feel that your rights are violated, we need to think what rights are violated. So first of all, we think that it's kind of violation of Article, I don't remember, 8 of Constitution, of Spanish Constitution, about private life, 18. Yeah, oh, okay, it doesn't matter. So it's violation of private life and intervention, because this article includes the protection of health and security and yeah, and like, I don't remember actually much of the case. And we also can think about the same case that happened in Spain. That was the name of a case. Oh. Can you pronounce it? I don't know, but I don't know. Yeah. So the main thing is that the state has to provide people with health area to live, and there are some limits of noise around. And if this is area for I don't know, calm living, it must, like, private life must be protected. And so we take this case as an example, and yeah, we take this as an example. Do we have just something? Do you want to present?
Yeah, the main problem of the case is, of course, that the change in private life of our clients. So the disturbed sleep, less privacy, and difficulties with developing the career because of less concentration that results from the noise. But there are also other points that could be problematic. For example, if there are other associations or people that are responsible for the noise pollution. For example, the council. Since the council releases the licenses to open pubs and clubs.
Yeah. So the our solution isn't finished yet. We started already, but it's on the laptop. So we will end our presentation here.
Okay, but it will be a good idea. Try to give an answer, whatever. What do you think they have to do? This couple
but I
has
mean,
to.
you need to use these things. So we didn't even try, we didn't even start to search. So how can we present?
But this is not an answer because you have to do a presentation today. So that's not our problem. These are your clients, and you are lawyers. You have to give an answer.
So probably, we found out that there are limitations to regulate noise pollution. So probably the problem will be solved. But to give a more specialized or to give a more special answer, first we have to make more researches.
Okay. We're going to finish now because they are going to give you the advice of the formalities, but we are going to follow next week with the content of the presentations. So thank you very much. And try to give some ideas.
Just to finish the class, just some advice. First of all, to all the group, when you exit outside and we don't know your name, it's good to start saying my name is Julio or my name is Carmen. Whatever, it's a good way to start showing you to the auditorium in this case. And secondly, the first girl, when you are a girl and you have long hair, so when you speak in public, you have to be aware that your hair can be like in your face, and you don't show your face and your eyes as you should. And if you don't show your eyes, as Javier told you, you can't play with the eyes and with your face, so that. You understand that? So, and play with the micro. If you have a place to put it, just put it. Because if you have it in your hand and you don't know how to use it, you can do things like this, and that makes people go out of your argument. Okay, but very good. And second hand, that girl, that you have a really good voice, good speech. But we know that you don't prepare it as much as you wanted. But in other opportunity with the Professor Pepe, you have to speak like that and try to have your ideas in a correct way. Just to say, okay, the arguments are these, the solutions, as he said, are these. You read the articles and you try to give the solutions with the articles in the Constitution and all that, and that's fantastic. So try to work that. And the third one, the same thing. The speech and the voice was very good, but if you work harder with your friends in order to give solutions, as Pepe was telling you, that will be pretty much better. Okay, so I give the micro to Pepe, and if you want to say something else, just thank you for the opportunity of being here, and good luck with your life.
Okay. Thank you very much to Javier and Julio and his master, the Professor José Landete.